One night, a father arrived at his divorced wife's house. And what happened that very night? It would shock anyone who saw it, so stay till the end of the video. The bright lights of Mistwood Manor stood atop the cold, quiet hills of Western California, casting their glow on the old, rusty Ford pickup truck parked below. Inside the truck sat Jake Wright, a mechanic whose hands carried the deep marks of grease and hard labor, and whose heart carried even deeper wounds. His wool jacket was torn, his pockets empty, but his eyes burned with the determination to protect the one treasure more precious than anything in this world. On the hill above him, Mistwood Manor stood tall, grand, untouched, and cruel. This was the home of Amber Vance, his ex-wife, who, after the divorce, had not only taken custody of their daughter, but had also shattered every piece of his heart. Tonight, Jake was here uninvited. He had no choice. 2 hours earlier, he had received a strange text from his 10-year-old daughter, Sophia. "Dad, I'm okay, but do you remember where we left the midnight game? I need your key." Midnight game was their secret code. Key meant danger. Sophia knew she shouldn't send a direct message from her mom's phone, so she used something only the two of them could understand. Jake knew instantly that Sophia was in trouble. He stepped out of the pickup. The air around the manor felt heavy, like it was hiding a dark secret. He reached into his pocket and felt the two things he trusted most: his multi-tool, the one he used to pull apart engine parts, and a small flashlight. He knew Amber didn't like him. He knew Amber feared him. But this time, fear belonged in Amber's eyes, not his. Jake pressed the intercom at the gate. A moment later, Amber's voice came through, sharp but trembling. "Amber." "Jake, are you insane? Why are you here at this hour?" "Jake, Sophia sent me a message. Midnight game. The key. Amber, I need to come inside." A frightening silence filled the gate. Then the slow, grinding sound of the gate opening. "Amber, come through the basement door. I can't let anyone see you entering." For the first time, Jake felt like Amber had placed her daughter's safety above her own ego. Jake slipped in through the dark, dirty basement door. Amber stood there, in her expensive silk nightgown, shaking. Behind the layers of makeup and luxury creams, Jake saw something he had never seen before: her real vulnerability. "Amber, how did you even—" "Jake, Sophia, what's going on, Amber?" Amber, whispering, "This house, it's not safe. My husband, John, he's a good man, but his brother Cal is here. He wants control of John's wealth. He threatened me, said that if I didn't divorce John, he'd reveal my old secrets, and he asks Sophia strange questions." Jake, angrily, "What the hell does that mean? What does he do?" Amber, "He goes into her room at night, gives her a secret mission, tells her to spy on us. I stayed quiet because John must not find out. I thought Cal was just intimidating me, but this morning I saw something in Sophia's hand." Amber froze, terror on her face. "Amber, come with me, quietly." They climbed a narrow old staircase toward the third floor, toward Sophia's room. As they reached the top, Jake heard a sound outside the door. Tap, 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 like a nail scraping against the wall. Amber froze. Jake pushed her behind him. "Stay back." He took out his multi-tool and, with mechanic-like precision, removed the pin from the door handle. It took him less than a minute. Inside, Sophia was sitting on her bed. She wasn't asleep. Her eyes were red, but when she saw Jake, her face lit up. "Daddy, you came!" Jake rushed to her and hugged her tightly, 3 years' worth of pain melting into that one embrace. Sophia whispered, "Daddy, he was just here." She lifted her pillow. Under it was a small torn teddy bear, the one Jake had given her when she was 3. "Sophia, he told me to give him this bear because it was poor. But this is my key." Jake picked up a bear. He felt something hard sewn inside. With his multi-tool, he cut the stitching. Inside was a shiny Bluetooth earpiece. "Jake, what is this?" "Sophia, he wears it, and he said if I don't spy, he'll take the second key." Suddenly, the entire manor went dark. Power outage, a suffocating darkness. Jake shouted, "Cal!" The door burst open. A massive shadow stepped into the room. Cal, low, furious. "You fools! You think you can escape?" Cal grabbed Amber. She screamed. Jake picked Sophia up. "Sophia, wrap your arms tight around my neck. Amber, behind me." Jake flashed his torch directly into Cal's eyes. He hesitated. Jake seized the moment and used a heavy iron rod he'd picked up from the basement to wedge the carved door shut from outside. The 3 ran through the dark hallway. Mistwood Manor's enormous size turned into a maze designed to trap them. Amber, panting, "Where do we go?" Jake, "The garage, my truck." They sprinted downstairs. When they reached the main hall, Jake suddenly turned off the flashlight. Jake, whispering, "Amber, remember how I taught you to clean engine grease?" Amber, breathing hard, "Yes, quick circles?" "Good, because we're about to use a different trick." Near the dining hall was a large fire alarm system. Jake used the screwdriver from his multi-tool and, with one swift motion, short-circuited the wiring, like he was hot-wiring an old car. The alarm didn't ring. But as Cal approached, Jake rolled a small object down the stairs, Sophia's old broken glass ball. Cal heard the sound and thought they were running downstairs. He charged in that direction. But Jake, Amber, and Sophia were hidden on the attic stairs. Cal ran down, confused, roaring in anger. Jake, smirking. He'll never understand that every lock has a key. Within minutes, they slipped through the attic passage into the back garden. Jake started the pickup. The engine, which usually embarrassed him, now sounded like the sweetest music. On the highway, Jake looked back. Mistwood Manor stood in darkness. Amber held Sophia tightly. "Amber, Jake, I'm sorry. I never realized how bad this could get. You were always the better parent." Jake looked at her. Their marriage would never be repaired, but tonight had made them a team, at least for their daughter. "We need to call the police now. Cal won't stop." Sophia rested her head on Jake's shoulder. "Daddy, you saved me. I knew you'd bring your key." "And you gave me the biggest midnight game clue ever." They drove into the darkness, leaving Mistwood Manor behind. A poor father had pieced together his broken life in the middle of a terrifying night and created the biggest adventure for the daughter he loved more than anything. He may have been poor, but in courage and love, he was richer than any man alive. Jake pulled into a lonely gas station. Sophia was asleep in Amber's arms. He called the police and explained everything. Cal's threats, the Bluetooth device, and his attack. Amber sat quietly, guilt and relief mixing on her face.
"When they arrest Cal, I'll divorce John. This all happened because of his money. I can't put Sophia at risk anymore." Jake finished the call. "I understand, but right now we need to keep Sophia somewhere safe. And to Amber, you still haven't told me, what was that earpiece for?" Amber took a deep breath. John had extremely confidential company data. Cal feared that if John had a heart attack, like many in their family, the data would disappear and the fortune would slip away from him. He tricked Sophia into activating the earpiece near John's office so he could record private conversations. The second key was probably the password to that data. Jake nodded. Corporate conspiracies made no sense to a poor mechanic, except for the part where his daughter was in danger. Police raided Mistwood Manor. Cal was found unconscious, injured, with recordings proving he forced Sophia into spying. His father's secret will was discovered. If either brother committed a crime, the entire wealth went to the other. Cal was trying to make Amber expose John so he could get everything, and he tried to kill Amber and Jake to eliminate witnesses. Hours later, at sunrise, Jake and Amber returned to the motel. Amber looked at Jake, her eyes full of gratitude. "After the divorce, I only saw you as poor. I judged you by your truck. John's money blinded me. But when the lights went out last night, I had nothing. Not wealth, not security. All I had was a man who would fight for his daughter." "Money never protects anyone, Amber. Only love and courage do. I won't fight for custody again. This has gone too far. Sophia needs both of us. We failed as husband and wife, but can we be a team as parents, please?" Jake smiled softly. "I think the midnight game is finally over, Amber. And yes, we'll always be a team." Over the next few weeks, life changed. Amber filed for divorce. Jake sold his pickup and rented a small garage near the city. He spent more time with Sophia, and every weekend they went on adventure drives. One Saturday, at Jake's new garage, Sophia said, "Dad, your garage is so cool. Can we play the midnight game here?" Jake laughed. "Why not, my adventure queen? But this time, we're calling it the Daddy-Daughter Team Game." He opened his old toolbox and handed her a little screwdriver. For her, it was a new adventure. For Jake, it was the victory he had fought for, a victory of love. And before the video ends, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit like and subscribe.